Hello, good morning, everybody. My name is Gilles Bétis, and I will present to you what we are doing in EIT Digital for startups and for business development of startups. So I am the Urban Life and Mobility Action Line leader of EIT Digital, and Fergie, can you stand up? Yeah. And Fergie is in charge of business development acceleration, and Fergie is based in London. I'm based in Paris. And what is EIT Digital? EIT Digital is one knowledge and innovation community from the European Institute for Innovation and Technology. And we have a very simple mission, turning technological innovation in new usage innovation and new business models. So we are the last mile between technological development and future business. I'm in charge of an action line which is called Urban Life and Mobility, which has to deal with smart city. But dealing with smart cities is not something which is very simple. There are many ways, and I just will take some minutes to explain you what is the way we are working with smart city. You know these figures, okay? Half of the people, 75% of the people living in cities in 2050. But moreover, it is just doubling the number of people. And doubling the number of people is not just a matter of adjustment. Doubling the number of people is a transition. It is not by reusing all the old recipes that we have right now that we will solve the problem. So we have to be innovative, so we have to find new solutions. What are we doing with cities? Which cities? Okay, you have two kinds of cities, greenfield cities and brownfield cities. In greenfield, we know about greenfield, those techno cities, okay? Techno cities which are very good for experimenting technology and so on, but which have some serious limitation in terms of creating what is a city life, what is attractive for people settling in this city and so on. And cities that are most of the time very selective in terms of selecting their inhabitants. You have also these new cities, like in China, for example, growing with million inhabitants, okay? We are creating a New York City every, don't know, week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, but that's huge. But greenfield city, we have to think about that. Most of the greenfield cities today are slums. And this is a real problem. And this is where the problem of the adjustment of what we know to do right now is not valid, and where we have to find some of the solution. How shall we deal with this problem? And you have brownfield cities that have a long story, a long history, a very strong culture, and a very strong legacy. And what we see for these cities is that new technologies are very useful, but most of the time, very successful way of upgrading the life in this city and finding new way of living and so on is relying on the strong adaptation of the legacy of the city. So, greenfield or brownfield, two different ways. In one side, one challenge about the slums, and in the other side, a challenge about how to use legacy, multi-centuries legacy of these cities. One of the things we discuss about cities, but cities are basically people, okay, and how to manage governance of people in these cities. Originally, we started to manage cities from a very centralized point of view, okay, for a very simple reason. This is that it is the first role. This is the Hegelian role of the city governance, to have this centralized vision, this centralized management, because it is also quite efficient to manage utilities, to manage security, to manage mobility, to manage many things. But it had some severe drawbacks in terms of innovation. When you are on the tracks, it is very difficult to go beside those tracks. and sometimes it is not very open to what the citizen, what the user of the city are thinking. And when you have to make some choices for city planning and so on, it is also not very convenient to have a decentralized approach. That's why the participative approach started to grow. That's why we not only ask people whether or not they are okay with the different decision, but also if they can have some useful suggestion. But what is most important is this third way, the collaborative way, because the collaborative way started as a spontaneous way of people organizing themselves. And most of the time it's completely independent of the city governance itself. So it is a challenge for the city governance how to deal with this spontaneous organization of the people by themselves. What we think in EIT Digital, Urban Life and Mobility is that we don't have to be in opposition between these three concepts. We have to find a smooth way of integration, of synergy between these three concepts. Because centralized management can take a lot of added value from crowdsourced information, for example. And because innovation by hybridization of skills of many people and hybridization between skill of basic citizens, basic residents of the city and specialists can lead also to help people not only understand how to run the city, but how to develop their own projects. So this integration is key, and that's what we want to foster. Cities, smart cities started to be technology. Technology was at the starting point, and for very simple reason, and we are dealing with telecommunication technology, and communication technologies deal a lot with technology, networks, and so on. And like blood in the human body, the information in the city is just a matter of giving life to every part of the body. Okay, and this technology is important for creating wealth because it is the necessary infrastructure. So you need this infrastructure, but we just saw a few years ago that it was not sufficient, and that this approach is no longer valid if you don't go to the second part, which is a societal aspect. Why are we doing that? For who? For what? What is the pain we want to kill in the city? And this is a societal aspect. And today we are in this societal movement. Everybody is telling you that smart city has to be societal. Tomorrow, the cities will be political, because managing a smart city is not managing a city. It is a completely different thing for people in charge of the governance. And they will have to develop their own skills, new skills, in order to manage all the expectations from the people. Gaming. I was talking about collaboration and how we can interface collaboration with centralized or participative behavior in the city. Gaming is probably one of the more easiest way, not only to involve people, but also to have education about how to manage the city and to show how complex are the problems of the city. Okay, because innovation is not about just brainstorming. Okay, innovation is about hybridization of skills and of knowledge. And if you think about knowledge, you have to give the knowledge or to get the knowledge somewhere. And this knowledge can come from a large part, from gaming. Okay, children are learning things by gaming. Okay, why not citizens? Why not residents of the city? And this is important because I like very much this sentence from Portugal. City is like a book, but a book written by thousands, hundreds, millions of citizens, of people who have a different story. And what's wonderful is that this story is read by millions of other people. And each of this reading is different because with the same word, you don't read, you don't understand the same thing, and you don't write again the same thing after. And this is where innovation stands, in the way we are reading the city. So, in EIT Digital, we are dealing with business model. That is that we are very close from the economic ecosystem. And for Smart City, we are dealing with a model with citizen users, governance bodies, urban service providers, can it be mobility, utilities, education, health, or whatever, and all the economical actors that make the city rich. And there are some internal value exchange. And if you want to get wealth in smart city, if you want to increase the value in smart cities, if you just increase the value for one actor, probably you will get the value in the pocket of the other actor. So you have to think about all this ecosystem. You have to define the ecosystem in which you want to increase the value, and you have to find the value from outside, from more attractiveness, more activity in the city, but also better use of the money you have. Okay, and it leads also to some concepts of frugal smart cities that make the best with limited resources. So, in EIT Digital, we are focusing our action in 4 different ways, and we are focusing on partners, on startups that are also dealing with these 4 aspects of the smart city. Transforming public democracy. You need tools. Okay, it is not just talking about public democracy. It is tools for this new democracy. Tools and methodology, both at the same time. We need the mobility marketplace, mobility as a service, all about having a smooth experience, a seamless experience of the mobility. Okay. Should it be private mobility with your car, with a peer-to-peer mobility, but also with public transport, with whatever you want, or sometimes mobility is just staying at home. Mobility is immobility. Okay. Second point. Third point, about the urban digital ecosystem. We are dealing with data, a lot of data, flows of data in the city. And this flow of data is far away of the concept we have today with the open data and so on. Okay. The data, we don't care anymore about open data today. Okay, what is important is to know where is the data. The data is everywhere. It is massive, it is big data. And the data that is valid today will not be longer valid tomorrow. We are not dealing with static databases. We are dealing with finding the right data at the right time and providing this data to the good user who needs it. And last time, city planning and gaming, which are both like for transforming public democracy, which is both tools, simulation tools, but also methodology. Okay, having people working together to innovate in the city, thanks to powerful tools. And the tool is not all tools and methodology. Okay, I'll let the floor to Fergie, who will explain you about the business development accelerator we have in EIT Digital, and I will conclude then this presentation.
Thanks, Jill. So what does this all mean for startups? Well, at EIT Digital, we have a what we call an innovation funnel, where we have a supply side, we have a technology or supply side funnel, which consists of startups, consortium-based technologies, and also various spin-offs and projects. These, within the EIT digital ecosystem, we focus on 8 action areas. Jill just talked about urban life and mobility, but we also focus on smart energy systems, smart spaces, health and well-being, future cloud, and a couple of others. We source these technologies from a variety of different areas, and we nurture them through our business development accelerator and help them scale across Europe. Business Development Accelerator has two key services that we provide in a suite of 7 or 8 expanding services. These are primarily access to market and access to finance. We have currently 8 full offices across Europe, 2 partner offices, and we're in the process of rolling out our RISE program to 15 other territories that we don't currently operate in, and that'll be starting in 2016. In terms of access to market, we have over 40 business developers across Europe who all support and advise startups, and we all work coherently together to soft land startups in other countries. So for example, I'm working with a startup in the UK at the moment who's looking to raise 2 million euros. At the same time as introducing them to investors and preparing them for investors, we're also going and meeting our German colleagues in Berlin and our French colleagues in Paris to do market research, set up their legal entities, hire their first employees, and find their first customers. In terms of access to finance, we tend to focus on growth stage companies, typically looking to raise 1 to 2 million. However, we will also help early stage companies who are looking to raise 3 to 500,000 euros. Our portfolio to date, it covers 175 startups spread out equally across Europe, across these 8 action lines. 25% of our startups have received external funding in the last year. Our average growth rate across our startup portfolio is 240%. And all this requires money. As I said, we will help a startup in its home country become a market leader. That typically requires an investment round of 3 to 500,000 euros, dollars, or sterling. We will then help them roll out to their first 3 or 4 territories as part of their Series A. And then, if they've managed to achieve that benchmark, then get into growth stage capital and expand into the rest of Europe, into North America, and into Asia. Startups play an important role in our business communities, and I'll let Gilles just finish up telling you a bit about our business community as well.
Thank you, Fergie. So, business community is one of the tools that we have to develop the activity between EIT Digital members and coach startups in the EIT Digital ecosystem. So, creating value for the actors of the ULM ecosystem is what? It's about business community is business. Okay, so in business you have suppliers and you have buyers. Okay, the suppliers are either the innovation activities, that is to say some project that we are, EIT Digital is supporting in order to develop some new product from mature technologies, but also the startups that are coached and helped and were cooperating with the EIT Digital. And the buyers are who? In smart cities, of course, it is cities, but it is also urban service providers or also industries that are interested by the technologies and the services that are developed by the startup. There is a third actor in the city which is very important and that have a very big place in our business community, which we are calling the enablers. Enablers are not customers. Okay, in a smart city, you can help a lot of developing some new usage, not only by buying the technology or buying the service, but just letting people experimenting in your city, letting people experimenting in your company, just giving them the chance to develop a new market. That's what we call the enablers, who allow innovation to deploy on their premises. How are we doing that? We are doing that by many ways. So Fergie discussed about access to finance. We are present on some professional exhibition also. We were in innovative city in Nice. We were 2 days ago at the Milan Expo for a special day on smart cities. We are here, and we will be in Barcelona in November for the World Smart City Expo World Congress. In all of these events, we are here not to show EIT Digital, or we love to show EIT Digital, of course, but we are here to show the partners of EIT Digital, the industrial partners, the academic partners, the laboratory research partners, and the startups that are partnering with EIT Digital. And we give them a very large place in this show, and we provide them with the capability to be on a booth, to show their innovation, to show their product. It's very attractive because being present in a large exhibition like Smart City Expo or here is not easy for the startups. So that's a chance. But we don't provide them with the capability to come here. We provide them also to come with a refined communication message, with a refined marketing policy, with some refined tools that will help them to target more precisely their future customer. This is the other part of the support. This is the underground support that we have for the startup. It is also helping refining their approach to the market. Other way for the startups to cooperate is about workshop. We are organizing some workshops during the year. We are organizing some partner events where they can meet different partners of the EIT Digital. Call for activities. There is a call for activity every year. In this call for activity, EIT Digital partners are suggesting some innovation activity to develop new products, and startups are invited to associate with those EIT Digital members in order to be part of these activities. These activities are then partly funded by the European budget. ID Challenge is a way also for us to not only to detect interesting future startups, but also to select the best of them and to provide them with the capability to enter in our business development accelerator and then in the business community. This year, we'll come back later. This year we had a very successful ID challenge. We had a little bit less than 500 submissions, and we are on the process to select for each of the action line the 10 finalists. And for urban life and mobility, the final will be in London on 23rd of November. Okay, but urban life and mobility was a very successful action line for the ID challenge, and we had 102 applications around subject for a new product for the smart cities. I was talking about dealing with the EIT Digital members. This is a panel view of who are the EIT Digital members. You see a lot of big companies. You see major university in Europe, major research laboratory in Europe, and working in the business development accelerator with EIT Digital is a way for the startups to get in touch in a very simple way and quite immediate way with all these major actors. Okay, that's a few logos of maybe 20 or 30% of the startups we are working with in the EIT Digital. You can put your logo here if you want. Just get in touch with us, and we'll see how we can write the future together. Okay, thank you very much. If you have any question for me or for Fergie, just feel free to ask it. Thank you.